Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Authentic and Soul Embodiment Living podcast. I'm Jennifer Akkad, and I'm joined today again by my amazing sister, Holly Turiya
from the Tantric Awakening podcast. So this is another dual session today, coming at you live with part 3 of our Life as Temple series.
Yes, and we'll dive into the theme of intimacy with creation and the collective. So we'll dive right into it and feel what wants to come through here. We have some juicy content to bring forth. So, Holly, I'll invite you to speak right away into what does it even mean for you to be intimate with creation?
Wow, this is I think one of the juiciest topics, because our connection that we have to creation, source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is our most foundational intimate relationship, and more foundational even than our intimate relationship with ourself, because it's intimacy with the very heartbeat and soul beat of the aliveness that runs through our body and that has brought us to life on this earth. And so there is something deep within inside of our beings, within our heart, within our essence, that we are all longing to touch. And this is our connection to source. And so much of us are outsourcing that deep connection through our external relationships, looking for validation, looking for love, looking for belonging, safety, surrender, all of these pieces. And ultimately, there's a God or goddess size space inside of us that can only be filled and penetrated with the light of creation. And once we realize this, once we realize that everything we're seeking outside of ourselves is actually on tap within our very bodies, that is the foundation for our intimate connection with our truth, ourself, and all of life, our creations, the collective, everything. So it's truly, when we say life as temple, it's like bowing at the altar of God or goddess every single day in reverence and honor for the life that we have. So this is really like the deepest prayer.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Bowing to the God and the goddess, bowing to the inner God and the inner goddess that we are born with, and how to activate this inside of our body. I love that you brought the body temple also to the piece, because it's not something that's outside of us. It's really something that we have access to from our body temple, and there are ways to activate these portals from inside the body, and it is a practice. It is also a certain discipline and a desire that leads us into opening these portals with I'm going to say, sincere desire too. It's not just a desire that you just throw like this, but a really deep longing, a calling, as I love saying, from soul to reconnect to this source, because we have forgotten along the way, right? We have forgotten that we have this genuine connection, and it's all about the pathway to how can we reactivate this inner life and from our body. So yes, I love that you're bringing this, even the word juicy is like, yeah.
Yes.
This divine piece of the work, and actually why we are choosing to meet and why this even exists, life as temple, comes from that space of intimacy with creation, where we both had enough space within our body and field to listen to the calling coming from creation, to listen to the calling of coming together as two human bodies and form, and to say, hey, let's take this baby, let's take this creation and the frequency of it, the intention of transformation of it, and bring it into matter. And I think it's important also, when we speak about intimacy with creation, that we bring this notion of matter to it, because it is here to be in matter. It's not something that's woo-woo or just out there. It is a perfect combination of the God and the goddess energy, as you put it so well, into the matter, and how to have our nervous systems resilient enough to hold that light, to hold the light and the potency coming with the responsibility of creation, right? And the word responsibility sometimes blocks people, right? And like it creates some reactions, the word responsibility, but it's beyond what we know of responsibility. It's a responsibility of
Yes.
our body in relation to the current of
Yes.
creation.
Yes. Yes. Your ability to respond. Yes. Yes. You know, we have many terms that we use, like receiving insights, like having a download, like having a intuitive hit, right? And this is all that light source of creation moving through your body, creating inspiration, desire, and turn on to create. And that is our aliveness, right? That is our aliveness. And one of my mentors shared a quote with me that I love, and that is, "It is easier to drink from a well than to pray for rain." And
Mm.
I really think of this as like, you know, when you said the word juicy, like our inner connection, our inner resourcing to creative life force, which is our erotic energy, which is our love, which is our consciousness, is the well that lives inside of us that we drink from and fertilize our soils with. And so many of us are so thirsty and so hungry and praying for rain. And that rain is, I need a beloved, I need a partner, I need like my dream this, my dream that. And it's like, if you just dig deep enough inside of you and give yourself the space and silence to be intimate with source, and you
Mm.
feel that knowing in your body, like that is what will hydrate the seeds of soul inside of you. And that's where you bloom. That's where you bloom from. So we're all so thirsty, but we're forgetting that our waters of creation live so deeply inside of us right here in this moment.
Yeah, 100%. This inner fountain of love.
Yeah.
And yes, remembering that we have access at any given moment to these portal, like I was naming, and there are strategic places in the bodies also to activate that give us access to different textures of this. Like the womb space gives access to something, and the cervix gives access to something else.
Mhm.
Pelvic floor gives access, and then it becomes an embodied prayer beyond words. We're using a lot of words because we're here communicating something tangible, but this is really from beyond the realms of words. It's something that is felt so deeply that the body naturally bows to it. There's a reverence, there's a knowing, there's a remembrance, like you say, and there's trust. There's so much trust that is built with this bow, with
Yeah.
leaning into the current. And that goes with the relationships, right? And the collective, like we are leaning into creation and into the current, therefore we are meeting people. It's not I want to meet somebody, therefore I go and I get. It's the total opposite. It's actually creation is tapping on me, the vision is tapping on me, is choosing me. I am already chosen by creation if I allow my body to be filled by this life force and this source energy. Where is it guiding me? Who is being presented in front of me? Who am I meant to share life with? And that's it. The mind drops, and it is this practice of trust, but trust is always here. But it's a practice for our nervous system to lean into it and to let go of the protection mechanisms that are in the way.
Yes. Yes. And I love, Jennifer, that you're like weaving this holy thread of trust, because this is really what it's all about. And for people that maybe have a hard time connecting to the concept of spirit or source or God, the invitation is to expand into the word, the Tao or nature, right? Like creation, like all of nature trusts the stars, the plants, the animals, like everything trusts this intelligence of creative life force energy. And this is what our sexuality is. It's creative life force energy. And like you said, it's guiding us to evolve, to transform, to alchemize through our connection with others. But we can only trust it if we are connected to that current, like you said, or else we're running our relationships through pain body, through trauma imprints, through egoic desires, right? When we switch into the channel of source and swim in that river, it's like we can surrender and trust that like all of life, all our relationships are perfectly orchestrated, and that there's a divine order to our connections. And then it becomes fun and we can be curious within that connection.
Yes, curiosity is such a key word here. Curiosity, living in curiosity is it's so heart opening also. And I really have this image of like nature or God or the universe kind of playing with us a bit like puppets, right?
Yeah, totally.
But it's like just
Kind of
putting us
sexy.
on the chessboard. Yes.
It's like doming us in a little way.
Exactly. Putting us on the chessboard, and we are being positioned. I love using this word. We are actually being positioned all our life, us in relation to the collective, us relation, like us in relation with life, is nature, universe, or God positioning us. All these experiences that we have that are uncomfortable sometimes, there's a purpose to it. There's a purpose of igniting more and more of our connection to source, but more of our embodiment with this source energy. It's the embodiment of this source energy. And this, for me, the intimacy with creation is the most erotic way of living.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way my womb pulsates when I choose to connect, and when the cervix, like when the whole pleasure effect of this energy circulating and the cervix being activated.
Yeah.
There's nothing more erotic. Yes, with a partner, it's juicy, it's fun, it's playful, but at the end of the day, when I rest inside myself, this is where I love also resting. And this is where I resource and I let my body be filled with this energy, like you said. And then from that place also, I reconnect with the collective, knowing that I'm really being guided in an organic way and in an aligned way. Without the connection to source, or without this regular practice, very fast my mind kicks in again, and then I start controlling how life unfolds rather than trusting how life is unfolding.
Totally. And when we step into control mode, there goes our eros. There goes our inspiration. There goes our life, like our connection to life. It's sort of like stepping on the hose of life force energy moving through our bodies. And yeah, like you said, there's nothing more erotic, like sort of the connection that I have to source. Like I think we all feel it and sense it in different ways, but I have this connection to like the divine feminine through the earth that I feel literally rising and pulsing through my body as my erotic life force, as my sensation, right? And I'm surrendered to her. I trust her. I trust her feeling state, her emotions, like her aliveness. And then the connection that I have to the divine masculine is more of like that higher consciousness source code that's moving through my upper chakras down into my body. And I'm like on my knees in surrender to him, like in total submission and surrender, like have your way with me. Like, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? Who would you have me become? And it's this really beautiful surrendered, co-creational relationship to both the divine mother and divine father. And because I can feel these energies so deeply in my body, I'm able to see them in other people. And this is really like where it bridges into the intimacy with others, because we can only meet, feel, and connect within others what we've met, felt, and connected to in ourselves. So we cannot see the divine shining in someone's eyes. We cannot feel the erotic pulsing in someone's body unless we are attuned to that vibration. So this connection to source really allows us to have vibrant co-creational devotional relationships with other people.
This image, the inner masculine, the inner feminine, and the God and the goddess again and again. Oh, really tapping into what wants to come through here, because it's very deep, you know, to live in such a devotional way. And again, the theme of trust keeps coming back in this conversation today. It's all about leaning into the surrender. Yeah, there's nothing to think about. We are designed in a way that is going to match a certain, I mean, the word mission might be big, but we are designed to create. and we are designed to create. And even when we enter intimacy with others, and if we go to the depth, we have pleasure, we have play, but if we go to the depth of an encounter, our bodies will naturally mingle a masculine energy with a feminine creative power. And with the sensitivity that we have, we will actually see what the creation is about.
Mm-hmm.
We will feel into it. So yes, on the in the 3D matter, we see, we have fun, there's pleasure, there's play, and all of this is really amazing and it's part of the game. But if we go behind this and we start really feeling the invisible, it's actually, again, divinely orchestrated, and there's already something written about what creation wants to bring through this collective, or two people, or again, a group of people, like what we were saying. But it's very deep. It's very, very deep. And the keyword is intimacy and connection, and feeling, really, really deeply feeling your body, deeply feeling the guidance of creation. And all of this we have access to when we create ourselves a certain structure to connect to source. It's all the information is here. All the information is here.
Yeah, I always say, like, we don't need a map if we become the compass, right? And we become the compass by embodying our sensations, tuning into our intuition, and having that direct access to source. Then we don't need to know where we're going. We can just trust, as long as we're attuned to our true north, which is felt through the body and felt through our intuition, like, we're on path, even though we don't know where that path is going. Right. And it's always way more magical than we could ever imagine or dream of. And these creations loops that you're talking about, like, the universal law needs masculine and feminine energy to bring things into matter, into co-creation through human form, through nature. And that could look like babies. That's like the most obvious way that men and women co-create the third thing through the alchemy of their union. But it could be a creative project. It could be a movement. It could be healing. It could be regeneration. It could be a third harmonic of transmission that the two of you co-create that brings a different flavor into the field. And so really opening up our minds and eyes to see, like, what's possible when we create from source with other people.
Yes, and what frequency are we here to bring? Creation is here to innovate, right? Innovate the planet. It's here to bring, like, yes, new frequencies onto the planet. It's for us to listen and to really give form to it. It's this is so juicy, it is juicy to lean into this way of living and this deep trust in the body, anchored on earth, being nurtured by earth, and also, like you said, bowing into this godly father giving us the direction without really questioning it, but also honoring the body, really getting super, super authentic with body, because it's not just a concept. It's not like, oh, I'm following God, I'm trusting. It's not just words being spoken out. It's a deep intimacy. So it really comes from your body and a direct connection. And it does require some practice. And I don't know if we can speak a little bit about this, because it's not just a matter of saying it and then woohoo, aha, there's a magic wand. It's a devotional path, and it requires the commitment and the consistency and the longing, and to be honest, the path chooses us, and that's it. The path chooses us, and we say yes to it. And we realize also that if we are being tapped to choose this path per se, and we don't, there's a lot more, let's say, unpleasant sensations in the body. We just get so much in the way. But pleasure is just behind the surrender.
Yes.
The life force circulating, the pleasure is just behind our yes. Our yes. I'm being chosen. Yes, I'm saying I'm leaning into this choice, and I let the mind just we send the mind somewhere else.
We enroll the mind to help us legitimize the yes and bring it into form, but the mind will often doubt, right? That's what it's designed to do. And the process of coming into a sense of unconditional trust with creation, with source, is the journey of embodiment. It's descending out of the mind and into the body. And we need to be able to do that in order to have trust. And this is, again, coming back to the word trust. In our relationship, so often it's like, I don't know if I trust him. I don't know if I trust this space. I don't know if I trust this group. And ultimately, like, the most important question to ask is, do I trust source to guide me forward, even if it's through dark woods, to transform me? Do I trust, even in those moments of unknowing and darkness? And do I trust myself to respond to that call? If you trust your connection to source and you trust your connection to yourself, everything else falls into place. Like, our trust in the outside world isn't as needed because we have that inner safety in knowing that we are held and guided and enlivened by magic.
Yes. Aho. Aho to this. Let's bring a little bit more of the tangible pieces of collective setups and bridging life as temple within a collective. We're going to be a group of people exploring intimacy with self, which we addressed a few weeks ago as the first pillar, and then intimacy with others, and now intimacy with a group of people within a community or within a tribe setup. Let's put it like this. It's going to be a micro version that we are going to explore in life as temple, but macro, it's all the same. So let's bring a little bit of this, the tangibles of, in practice, when we are in a collective, what is important to note, what is important to practice.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite sayings of this era that we're in is that the community is the new guru. Tribe, the village is the new guru. It's not one man sitting up on a Himalayan mountain anymore. It's the community, it's the tribe. And this is our deepest spiritual practice. This is our deepest yoga, is living and creating and loving in community. And it's so challenging because it's like being in a house of mirrors that reflects back to us our greatness and our glory, but also our grit and our shadow and the unseen pieces. But if we view every person that we interact with in community, whether it's the person selling us cheese at the farmer's market or our beloved, right, and everybody in between, when we look into their eyes and we see them as an embodied form of source, as a trail marker, as a guide, it's there's something here to learn and there's something here to give. And in every moment, if we can ask, what am I here to learn and what am I here to give in community? That is our highest dharma, is to offer ourselves and our heart song to community. It's why we're here. It's the evolution of being here. And so, yeah, it's the deepest spiritual practice, living in community. And that's why I live here. I know that's a huge part of the reason why you live here in Pachamama and Nosara, is to be in that cradle of creation.
Yeah, micro experience. And it is the most challenging because we are surrounded by so many other humans, and community and tribe represent our root chakra, right? It represents really the root of our body, where there's so much of our power that we think we need to repress just because of societal conditionings or family grids or whatever we were molded around. But the second we ground in community, that we accept that we're like, hey, I'm not just kind of a floating piece here. I belong, and that's the theme of belonging. There's something in the body that allows our deep grounded power and gifts and design to come in tune.
Yes.
And again, it's a pathway because this is where we get triggered the most, right? We get triggered the most in all these survival things of validation and everything, but mainly because, generally speaking, the true light with which we are born, the true power per se, was not accepted at the root level. society, schools, family. It was just not, and it's not to blame anybody. It's just how it is. We are here to reclaim this power. But so it's the journey. So when we say yes to the belonging and yes to the communal piece and the tribal piece, we're actually saying yes to doing the work of going through the discomfort of being truly seen in our embodied power, not an idea of our power, but really, what am I here to bring, like you say in community? What am I here to learn from the others and not run away from it? And this is really a major topic, not run away from the belonging piece, right? Yes, it's very deep topic.
It's just like, wow, it's on a primal and on a soul level, that's our deepest, all of our deepest yearning is to belong. Because when we reconnect to source, we remember that we all belong, right? We tap into that ocean of belonging. But then when we come back into our human selves, we feel separate. Our egos are like, am I better than you? Am I worse than you? Am I enough? Am I too much? Like all the egoic conditioning. And that is the work, right? All of our wounds and imprinting came from relationship and intimacy for the most part, relational. And so they can only be healed relationally. Like we can only do so much healing, like in our own personal meditation practice and our own devotional practice. Like we really heal through the alchemy of community. And it takes courage. It takes courage to face our wounds. It takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to call someone up into deeper truth and integrity. It takes courage to share our gifts and our heart song. Like it takes so much courage, but it's why we're here. It is the reason we're here.
Yes. Yeah, why else? We're here to journey and we're here to again, and all of this is juicy. All of this is pleasurable, even through the discomforts. Just to bring this notion of being with everything that is pleasure, is gratitude, is feeling, is being with everything that exists. And that's what we really want to be bringing in this collective setup as life, as temple, this 6 weeks journey where we will be going through exercises to connect intimately with our each individual selves, and then relationally in pairs, and then also with our tribal setup through the 6 weeks journey to practice all of this and to be in a safe container where yes, triggers will happen and pleasure will happen and so much will happen, but it will be in a safe, sacred container where your voice and authentic voice will have room to express and to be witnessed and to be seen in ecstasy or in very vulnerable moments, and all of the above mixed, you know. So that's really the intention with this container, and also longer term container, meaning that it's on a 6 weeks journey. It's not only a punctual drop in, it's really a journey that builds intimacy in time with the group, and yeah, all together.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of this container is it's a longer container and it's in person within our community with those that live here or are here for longer periods of time, because it's not, again, it's not a solo experience. It's a communal experience that can only be felt with others. And you know, it's one of the reasons that we're also incorporating relational dynamics into this container of life as temple is to encourage people to have more openness within their lives. So even for those that are in a monogamous container, committed container, co-creational partnership, it's to begin to unwind the societal conditioning that it's not okay to like love other people or offer emotional support or cuddles or touch or intimacy with other people, because this piece of connection to the collective, it takes a village. You know, just having one partner isn't enough to fulfill our dharma. Like we really do need a village, and that requires us to deconstruct the conditioning around sort of the like isolated partnership model that is so prevalent in our modern world. So that's a big part of this container as well, is dissolving those conditionings so that we can be more connected to our community and to our tribe, even if it's not in a sexual or romantic way, but just in a loving and supportive way.
100%. Yes, totally. In a loving and supporting way. And yes. Amazing. Yes, very excited about this container. We start this week on Friday the 16th. So the links to get more information is underneath this podcast or vodcast. Tap us, like send us a quick message if you're interested. We'll give you, yes, we'll just give you more information and yes, link you to join us.
Yes, so excited. And Jennifer and I are also going to be hosting and containing a mentorship journey, a co-created and co-held mentorship journey for those that are in the container and that are interested to really integrate on a deeper level all of these pieces that we've shared in these last 3 episodes of intimacy with self, intimacy with others, and intimacy with source. Because we didn't really, none of us like really received the support and training in these pieces. And this is really our area of expertise and what we're here to serve as our Dharma to the collective. So it would be such an honor to hold you and support you all in that way.
Yes, I hold to this. Thank you, everybody. And may we meet soon. And until next time. All right. Thanks, Holly.
Wow.